Good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon, Tiffany. Can you hear me?
We can.
Wonderful. Hello, everybody.
Hi there.
Thanks for taking the time to speak.
Hello.
So I am Tiffany Esposito. I'm the CEO of the Bonita Springs Area Chamber of Commerce, and we are the Southwest Florida Alliance of Chambers. We represent 8 chambers of commerce in Lee and Collier County and 6,000 businesses and about 300,000 residents and constituents. We are recording this interview and we'll be posting them to our websites and to our social media. So thank you again for taking the time. Before we get into the questions, we will introduce ourselves quickly and then we'll get to know you. So we want to start with Colleen, then Jenna, then Chris, Dave, John, and Jackie.
Hi, Jenna. I'm Colleen with the Greater Fort Myers Chamber of Commerce.
Hi, how are you? Jenna Persons Forrester with the Greater Naples Chamber.
Chris?
Sorry. Hi, Jenna. Chris Lopez here. I'm a member of many of the chambers you see here, and I consult with the Alliance of Chambers. Welcome.
Dave?
Hi, Jenna. Why aren't you on your honeymoon? Dave Miller, Chamber of Southwest Florida.
Dave.
Hi, Jenna. I'm John Lai. I'm the president and CEO of the San Isabel Captiva Chamber of Commerce.
Hi, Jenna. I'm Jackie Lezak, and I'm the president of the Fort Myers Beach Chamber of Commerce.
So with that, Jenna, we'd love to hear a little bit about you.
Well, thank you, Tiffany. And first, I want to start off and say thank you to each and every one of you and what your organizations do for our community every day and supporting our small, medium, and large size businesses. I have known many of you for many years and know you very well. And you not only work hard in supporting our local businesses and fostering a great economic environment, but you also give back all the time to our community. And I'm very appreciative and happy to spend this time with you. My name is Jenna Persons, and I'm running for the State House, District 78, and that's the Greater Fort Myers District. The district is currently held by Representative Heather Fitzenhagen. She cannot run again due to term limits, so it's an open seat. And that was one of the spurs that encouraged me to run at this moment. We've had a stellar delegation representing us and fighting for us up in Tallahassee. And this year, due to term limits, our state Senate seat is up, as well as 3 of our 4 state House seats. So it's a rebuilding team year, and I knew I could do a great job in helping to rebuild that team and work hand in hand with each one of you all, with other business leaders around this community and our local leaders, to ensure that we continue to have the strongest representation that is possible up in Tallahassee, and that we continue to build upon our great legacy and face whatever storm comes our way. We'll get through this pandemic. We'll go down the road of economic recovery. We will rebuild, and then we'll learn and be ready to face whatever challenge comes our direction. But I'm born and raised here in Fort Myers. I love our community. I've been involved in our community my entire life, and I went away to undergrad at Evangel University in Springfield, Missouri, law school at George Washington University Law School. I was one of 5 Republicans on campus, so I learned how to work well with others and chaired our Republican National Lawyers Association. In my undergrad years, I stayed incredibly involved with politics and policy. I worked for 2 years for then Majority Whip of Congress, Roy Blunt, now U.S. Senator from Missouri, Roy Blunt, as well as I helped run a campaign for a state representative while in Missouri, and I worked for the Republican Party in Missouri. I came back home, and this is where my roots have been for 6 generations. My great-great-great-grandparents settled in Fort Myers in the late 1860s, and that was not only the genesis of the community that we know it today, but also the genesis of my roots here in Fort Myers, and that's shaped my perspective and my passion for our community. So I came home. I wanted to continue to build even deeper roots here in our community, and I've run my law practice with my partner for the past 10 years. I'm proud of the work that we do, representing a variety of businesses in this area, from small to large, for-profit, nonprofit, and property owners, and all matters of business, property rights, and local matters. So I've enjoyed and loved my practice. It has permitted me to stay involved. I've been involved with numerous organizations, civic organizations. It's been an incredible amount of time. One of my passions is to ensure that we fully represent the entire area, that we help lift up our low-income communities and do whatever we can to provide the maximum opportunities for all as we move forward. I'm very proud that a group of us raised $180,000 of private funds to start a new position with the city's STARS program. The city of Fort Myers has a STARS program called Success Through Academic and Recreational Support. And it was a great public-private partnership. We raised private funds to fund a new position that will target specifically at-risk children in our community for mentorship opportunities and to be there whenever they need a helping hand to ensure that perhaps we can help them find better opportunities in the future. So that's a great passion of mine. I'm excited to talk more about different policy issues and about the campaign.
Great, thank you. What prompted you to run for office?
Well, I addressed it briefly, but I'll mention again, I've been involved my entire life in our community. I have a passion and a heart to ensure that we continue to do whatever we can to help others and to create the best legacy possible, not only for the next generation, but just for tomorrow. So I saw with the great turnover in our representation due to term limits, I knew that we needed strong leadership to continue to go up to Tallahassee to fight for us. We need strong fighters. We've had strong fighters. They've protected Southwest Florida, fought for Southwest Florida. I've watched them even behind the scenes, look at bills and look for those unintended consequences that can negatively impact us here at home and fight to make changes to the policy moving forward. Plus they fought for resources that we need here from public safety to water quality projects.
Great, thank you. And what makes you qualified to represent the business community?
As a small business owner myself and a lifelong resident of this area, I do feel uniquely qualified to go up and fight for our business community. And I've worked with many of you all and others in the business community on a multitude of issues. And I'm proud of the relationships that I've built, because those relationships not only serve as a level of support, but they serve to provide important resources to me as well as I seek to lead on different issues and represent us up in Tallahassee. So I look forward to going to those experts in the different sectors, the experts in the different fields, and discussing with them whatever comes our way, whatever we face, and relying on their expertise as well to make the best decisions possible for Southwest Florida. We're a team and we're a family here in Southwest Florida.
Thank you. In your opinion, what's the most pressing issue facing the Southwest Florida business community? And if elected, what would you do to address the issue?
First, I'll start and say I've continued to be in contact with voters and constituents throughout this district, even during the pandemic, making phone calls and then trying to get back out there and talking face to face with folks as we get through this pandemic. And what I hear more than anything else is that, one, people want to work, people want and need that purpose in life, and that the most important and pressing issue to us at this moment is our economic recovery. So what can we do for Southwest Florida businesses? Because we know the government doesn't create jobs. You all create jobs and your members create jobs. So how can we create the best and most friendly business climate for our businesses? I think we'll definitely need to further policies that keep our taxes low, the cost of doing business low, but we need to look at how we can further reduce those costs, further reduce those taxes. We need to completely eliminate the business rent tax. We need to look closely at opportunities to reduce or provide exemptions to the tangible property tax. I know that disproportionately affects many businesses and in our diverse industry. We need to do everything we can to resurge and revive our tourism industry. That's incredibly important for us here in Southwest Florida. We need to provide additional workforce, vocational training opportunities for our workforce. And in the bigger picture, look at our programs in our K through 12 education system and see where we can expand and provide additional programs, and especially look at that middle school level, because I keep hearing where the programs drop off a little bit in the middle schools, and that's a very formative period in a child's life. And we need to look at infrastructure. What projects can we do here? And I'm going to be on top of that nonstop, not only transportation projects, looking at traffic issues, but let's look at our technology infrastructure and what we can do there to increase and provide the best business climate and more opportunities for our area. And still tied to all of this, the backbone of our economy is our water quality. And we know that, and we've learned that. And we're going to have to fight and keep fighting for the necessary funding to make sure those projects get done in the SERP, as well as work hand in hand with our local officials, because there are so many small water quality projects that the county and the cities push, and they all play a role and work hand in hand in the bigger picture.
Thank you. So you mentioned it a few times, and as you know, Southwest Florida's economy is heavily dependent on leisure and hospitality. If elected, what would you do to encourage economic diversification in the region?
Wow, economic diversification is very important, as well as supporting the sectors that have thrived here for so long. And pre-pandemic, post-pandemic, we are learning every day what we can do to encourage, to spur these sectors. And the conversation keeps changing, so we must stay on top of it. I welcome all of you to continue to provide me input as well as we go through this process. But we do need to do everything in our power to revive, provide a resurgence for our tourism industry. And at the same time, as we look at diversification, as I mentioned before, reducing the cost of business for manufacturing, that tangible property tax can really weigh on some of the small businesses. Look at our regulations that we have in place. We can continue to reduce those that are burdensome on businesses, but not only from an occupational license standpoint, but let's look at the regulations and building permits, the red tapes and costs associated with what somebody has to go through to even open a physical office. There are so many areas where we can work that will encourage diversification. Again, our technology infrastructure and other infrastructure throughout the area. See what projects can work to promote diversification. And we need to prioritize those vocational and technical training opportunities, again, so we keep educating and diversifying our workforce and give them the opportunities. If they want to learn a new trade, promote those type of opportunities so that we have the strongest workforce here, and that folks can go out and they can continue to improve their lives, their world, and improve their wages at the same time.
Great, thank you. You also mentioned water quality a few times, and this group was formed out of the 2018 water crisis, and water quality is our #1 priority. If elected, what specific projects would you advocate for to improve and protect Southwest Florida's water quality?
Thank you for that, and thank you all for being leaders on this issue. None of us will ever forget what we went through in 2018 and what we personally experienced. I know I will never forget that. And out of that, though, came the conversation, the discussion that water quality, while it's important to our environment, it's important to our health, it's also critical to our economy. And it's critical to ensuring that we pass on our piece of paradise that we live in better and full of more opportunities to the next generation. What we can do to ensure better water quality and continue to make progress on this issue, in addition to working hand in hand with local governments on their smaller projects, we must complete the projects in the SERP. We must continue to push funding to get the job done. We also need to focus on water storage and quality north of Lake Okeechobee. we need to adhere to science-based solutions, and that's going to probably take an additional focus on research, because not only do we have our issues that are related to Lake Okeechobee releases here in Southwest Florida, but we deal with red tide as well. We're in a position where there's attacks coming on multiple fronts, and we have to be ready and have the tools and the science-based tools to address each one. We also need to prioritize conversion from septic to sewer near wetlands and water bodies, and we know this also, that we need to replace here in Southwest Florida aging wastewater systems and do everything that we can to ensure that we continue to move forward on better water quality.
Thank you. So 2 more questions. What specific actions do you think lawmakers should take to improve and protect Southwest Florida's waterways?
In addition to what I just said, I'll answer the question again. I think that what we need to do, our priority, our job, is to push and fight for the funding necessary to complete the water on the books, and also push for funding for all of the other projects in Southwest Florida, the projects that the Lee County leaders that you all say we need to complete. They're smaller projects, but they play a role and a part of the bigger picture. We need to push for an emphasis north of Lake Okeechobee on water storage and quality projects there. And we need to push to replace aging infrastructure. And all of that impacts our water quality, it impacts our life. And we know there's not a short-term fix, but this is going to be a fight that we must continue to fight every day and every year for quite a while to truly see results and see the job get done.
Thank you. And one last question. Is there anything else you'd like us to know about you or your priorities?
Your questions have been quite comprehensive, and I've enjoyed answering them all. I believe our top priority is to ensure that we get folks back to work. I was just reviewing our latest unemployment numbers for Lee County, and pre-pandemic, the economy was strong. Locally in Lee County, I believe our unemployment numbers were about 2.5%. We're up now to about 14.6%. We have a long road to go in economic recovery. We've heard from the governor, who's done a fantastic job. We know he's looking at that budget very carefully, and he's going to use his veto pen strongly. So we need to watch that, see what occurs, and that will help shape what we're looking at budget-wise for the next year and thereafter. We've been fortunate to have had great conservative leaders leading this state. They've passed policies and they've passed budgets that have led us in a strong position to fight whatever challenge comes our way. And now we're in the midst of fighting it. So that will be the biggest focus and biggest priority that we need to do. And related to that, all of these other issues play a role, from water quality to public safety. It all affects our economy, our environment, and our quality of life here in Southwest Florida. But I'm excited to lead and to represent our area as part of a team up in Tallahassee. One person can't get the job done, but there's 120 members of the House, and I'm excited to be part of our local delegation to build a strong team and go to work for us up in Tallahassee.
Great. Thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us today. Like I said, we're going to be posting these on our website and our social media, and we wish you luck in the fall.